The opportunity for Nigerians to be aware and participate in the efforts to save our marine ecosystem.
Knowledge is key to ensuring the health of this large body of water.
The idea of this came because of the needs we saw. We don't have many marine mammal specialists here in Nigeria, and we have this growing field of opportunities and jobs and chance of mitigation and help the conservation of the ocean.
When we envision BGP Oceans, our goal is to create meaningful impact to people's lives, knowing that this impact would reflect in the health of our oceans. And for this, deep connections are made.
About marine studies and all is not a very popular thing in Nigeria. So bringing this in, it's a good way to really empower young people, especially people like me that have the passion to save our ocean, to save the ecosystem, and I really expect to learn a lot.
This is a fantastic program. I'm here working with SAGE training. However, there are so many companies and organisations involved in this.
Okay, my experience so far has been educative, amazing. And I've learned the roles of a marine mammals observer and how to make sure that the client, that is the ship, is in compliance with the JNCC guidelines. My experience has been so wonderful so far. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of things that needs to be put in shape as a marine mammal observer. I'm so happy to be a participant of this wonderful, wonderful learning experience.
My colleagues that are here are particularly happy because apart from the training, they are also going to get the certification, and then that will enable them to be able to work offshores, and which have been the dream of many of them, because we are from the Department of Marine Science, most of us, and we want to be involved in the marine environmental conservation basically, and that is what this program is about.
And I really want to inspire the next generation of offshore marine mammal observers. I really want them to be able to go out, work offshore, see marine mammals, and have a direct impact in the conservation of marine mammals.
So it's really important to have all of these people reunited here, recent graduates, huge PhD and researchers, and many companies together and institutions together to empower Nigeria to start to look at those animals, look at this field of research.
Good morning, everybody. Very happy to see new faces today. My name is Monique Pol. I'm the director of the Green Heritage Fund Suriname, and we are organizing this event together with BGP Offshore, Daniella Bordon, and she's going to be one of our next speakers. I think it's very important to mention that this event is a United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development event. I'm not sure, somebody was, okay. And this means that it is on the website of the United Nations. There is a big conference going on in Nice, and José Truda yesterday mentioned that we sometimes are not present, and unfortunately Suriname is not present at this conference except for on the level of civil society, which is great. There are 2 government officials. Thank you. That's wonderful to know. Okay. We're very glad that we can acknowledge Suriname is there, so we hope that they will also attend other important ocean conferences. All of these presentations that were held over the today and yesterday are on our YouTube channel, where you can still go back and have, watch them. We are very glad that people are in the room today because we have some amazing people here, and this is a chance for you to interact with them personally, not just through a screen. Sorry, we've been exchanging so many files that I now have to find the right one. So the next presentation will feature 3 persons. The first one, Daniella Bordon, she's the Director of Environment and Sustainability of BGP Offshore. And Daniella has over 18 years in the energy industry focused on advancing environmental and social performance and sustainability strategies. With a master's in sustainable development practices and a background in biology, she has driven key environmental and social initiatives in the geophysical industry. And you could see this film that we just saw is a project that she led in Nigeria. Known for her commitment to environmental stewardship, Daniella has led complex environmental permitting, carbon management, and community outreach projects worldwide. She will be presenting together with her colleague, Morgana Alvarenga. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She is an oceanographer with years offshore experience as a marine mammal observer and passive acoustic monitoring observer. She currently works as an environmental coordinator at BGP Offshore, supporting biodiversity monitoring and regulatory compliance in seismic operations. In her work, she aims to build bridges between industry, the environment, and local communities. Daniella and Morgana, I would like to invite you. Yeah.
Okay, welcome everybody. It's very nice to see everyone here today. Again, second day of panels. It's actually our 5th day of event and last day. We have a half day today. It's been an amazing experience to be in Suriname once again. It's my 3rd time and definitely the best time. We've been around with Monique. We've been out in a field trip. We've seen lots of dolphins, and I have seen a different face of Suriname, which I didn't know yet. So it's been really amazing. As Monique said, my name is Daniella. I work for BGP for the last 6 years. I've been working in the energy industry, basically in the geophysical industry for the last 18 years in environment and sustainability. But I'm a biologist, so I started my career as a researcher during biology, while I was studying biology, and for 2 or 3 years after. I eventually went to work on offshore seismic vessels as a marine mammal observer, and that took me to a whole different career, the one I was expecting to have as a student, which I didn't even know existed. So I ended up working offshore, and then eventually I was hired to manage offshore projects in an office, and here I am since then. Now, very happy to be back interacting with the same people that I used to. So I'm back interacting with conservation organizations and the community as I once thought I would. So it's been a good journey. First, we wanted to remind everybody that this event was created because it involves two important dates: the World Ocean Day, which was the 8th of June, and today, which is Jacques Cousteau's birthday. Monique has been celebrating these 2 days for a very long time, and she allowed us to collaborate this year. And to me, collaboration is the best way to reach as many people as you can. And I'm pretty sure this has been the biggest one you've had so far, and hopefully next year will be even bigger. We had good participation. And so happy birthday to Jacques Cousteau, a very important figure in father of oceanography. And wow, he's changed the fate of the oceans and with his explorations. I thought I would start today explaining what BGP is, because we've been talking about BGP since the first day of this event, and I'm not sure anyone knows what we do, apart from a few people related to us. BGP is... Oh, what happened? BGP is a geophysical company. Okay, we work for the energy industry, mainly oil and gas, but also renewables. We have about 30,000 people working for us worldwide. We have operations all over the world, as you see in this map, and representation also all over the world. Headquarters of BGP is in China, in Tianjin. It's near Beijing. And BGP is owned by CNPC, a very large group, the China National Oil and Gas Corporation. Okay. CNPC is today probably the 5th largest company in the world, bigger than Apple, bigger than Amazon. It's a very large company, over 1 million people working for them worldwide. BGP is one part of that, and we do geophysical surveys both onshore and offshore. When we talk about geophysical survey offshore, there's several types. The main one we do is seismic, which is a kind of an ultrasound of the seafloor. Okay? It's used to identify geological structures beneath the seabed, mainly to identify where hydrocarbons are located. And before seismic, people had to drill 10, 20 times until they actually found the right place where the oil and gas reserves were. Today, that's probably it was being improved to maybe 1 or 2 wells to reach the exact spot, because we have very clear image. So yes, there are environmental impacts related to seismic activities, but if you consider the entire chain of oil and gas exploration, that impact has been reduced a lot by having better images. So that's been a game changer for the oil and gas industry. So as a company, we have some commitments, as most of us do. We are a member of the Global Compact. I don't know if you've heard of the Global Compact. The United Nations Global Compact is the biggest corporate sustainability initiative in the world. Okay? If you're a member of it, you have to make sure that your policies are aligned with the 10 principles of the UN Global Compact. These principles are related to environment, human rights, labor, and anti-corruption. So you have to prove every year, you have to report back to them, telling them how much you have improved your performance on each one of these principles. So it's an amazing way to help companies. Actually, they give you a framework on what you have to do to improve as a company towards those. And basically, those two pillars are the soul of sustainability, right? People, planet, and prosperity, which is not exactly included that, but the financial side, of course, is what makes a company sustainable in the first place. And when Morgana will talk about the other pillars and how they are important to make the balance and actually bring the success. The financial success cannot be alone, right? So we are a state-owned company, and therefore, I don't know if you've ever thought of this as in the business world. Okay, a lot of the private business, they are focused on generating value for their shareholders. Okay? Being a public or a completely one-owner company, the main goal is to generate value to shareholders, and when I say value, most of the time it's financial value. However, state-owned companies, they are born for a different purpose. Okay? They are born first to fulfill a gap that society needs, in this case, energy. They were created, okay, we need energy. Let's create a company that will explore oil and gas. CNPC has other companies within its group of renewables, but biggest, of course, is still oil and gas, as it is for all these energy, traditional energy companies. But besides being born, excuse me. Oh, that wasn't expected. Yeah, okay. So I forgot my phone is connected to my computer. So the state-owned companies, they are born to fulfill a gap that society needs and also to generate social value. Okay, one of the main things for a company that's owned by the state is to give jobs to their own people. So we do that very well. We create jobs, and we also personnel working for a state-owned company in China, they retired at 55 with about 70% of their earnings. So these companies are created to give people in society a very good job for their life and very good support after retirement. We also expect, as we are government, we are also expected to collaborate towards national development goals, whatever they are. China is more and more adopting very good and very quickly adopting great environment standards. You see how quick these things are moving in China. And I think China reduced its emissions drastically, even though production was not released for the first time in years, but that shows that graph is falling down, and it's probably going to make a huge difference in the next few years. So we are not business as usual company. We already have a different mindset in the DNA in what we are doing in our little environmental department, it's Morgana and I. We are reminding BGP, and they are very on board with that. Oh yeah, of course. We need to be out there. We need to be with society. And if you're not there, of course, these companies depend on a social license to operate. If people and public is against what you do, you're going to have a hard time getting permits, not only with the government, but with people, society. Okay, oil and gas operations have been stopped in many places in the world. There's a lot of protests. So we need to be more connected. We understand this very well. We need to be generating real value to people where we work. So we've had a journey doing that. Morgana will go through this a little bit more in extent. So, you want to add?
So, hello everyone. Daniella already introduced herself, so I'm not going to extend myself here. So, I'm just bringing here the environmental team behind BGP Offshore, which is both of us. So, Jacques Cousteau, since today is his birthday, taught us that we cannot care about what you don't understand. So understand starts with visibility, and that's why gatherings like this matter so much. I'm Morgana Alvarenga, that Monique told about. I'm an oceanographer by background. Now I'm environmental coordinator. And while we come from the industry, today we speak as people that believes in bridges. And bridges between science, between science and practice, between people and opportunity. That's why we have so many great people here together, working together on the same goal. And we recognize the diverse audience here. We have NGOs, we have communities, we had along the week government people together with us, we have another companies, and this shows that the oceans belongs to everyone. So this is a moment to exchange between those who protect the ocean, those who work at the ocean, those who live and depend from the ocean. And this is really power for us when we think about shaping the future on how we treat the ocean. So I will start by giving this concept that we learn in school. What is an ecosystem? So it is a chain of interactions between organisms and their environment. So it's how life interacts with the environment, with other types of life, with the abiotic. So everything is connected. So an ecosystem is more than plants, more than animals. It is about how lives interact with the environment around. So when we think about offshore, what happens there impacts onshore. So echoes onshore. So if we have a job, a spill, a sound, everything will echo here onshore. So that's why it's important for us to understand these concepts. So we have many types of ecosystem, as we learn in school. It can be small as an oasis in the desert or big as an ocean. So we normally learn ecosystem as like terrestrial ecosystem, aquatic, and then it divides in marine ecosystem, rivers. What about this room? This room is an ecosystem or not? Yeah, I see some yes there. So yeah, it is not just a forest or sea. It's the relation between everything. So water, air, animals, life, business, communities, governments. Because if one part is weak, the whole system will suffer. So even this room is an ecosystem where your voice matters, your ideas matter, and your decisions should be taken into consideration too. That's why we bring this important and very talked nowadays, the sustainability concept, which is means ensuring that today's actions do not impact and compromise life tomorrow. So it is a pillar between these three elements, of course, environmental health, social well-being, and financial value, so economic opportunity to people. So if one leg breaks, the whole system will be at risk. So as an industry, we need to think in sustainability to create a healthy environment, even for our business to grow and to continue along the years. So we cannot protect the oceans without thinking about considering livelihoods, and we can have livelihoods without a healthy ocean. So we need to create this sustainable ecosystem strong enough to ensure protection for the ocean, for the lives, for biodiversity, for people, and also for our industry, for knowledge. So we must remember that everything is connected. So I know yesterday Shaheen was talking about it is very hard to talk, and also Max was also talking about this. It's very hard to talk about conservation if people sometimes are hungry, or if people never saw a turtle. So how can I tell people to protect turtle if they don't even know that Suriname has a large population of turtles? So everything, I guess, starts with knowledge, it starts with data, it starts with building trust. So I believe in the same time that happened with turtles, like people sometimes never saw turtle. Sometimes people don't actually know what is offshore industry. It's kind of imaginary, in the imaginary of people. So offshore industry refers to activities that happens in the sea. So we have like oil and gas, energy, we have gas exploration, we have wind farms, we have maritime services like the t-shirt we buy online, shipping, everything like the transport that happens, cruise, everything belongs to this offshore industry. So you can picture like a floating city. We have engineers, we have cooks, we have cleaners, we have scientists. Everybody works in this environment. Not only science and very technical part, we also have people who cook for those who are in the vessels. So it's like a floating city, so everybody working together. Oh, the other one. So, of course, we have a shared ocean and a shared responsibility. So offshore industry can, of course, bring jobs, data, monitoring, and with that we can bring stronger regulations. With the offshore industry, we can have potential collaboration between all the stakeholders. But what matters here is how it's done and who is part of the process. Because these activities will happen in the same ocean where the fishers go to fish, where the turtles goes to nest, where coastal communities live. So yeah, offshore industry of course brings risk too. We have underwater noise, we have pollution sometimes, we have pressure on ecosystems, biodiversity impacts, GHG emissions, and we are not here to ignore that. We are here to say that responsibility matters, regulation matters, and local voices matter too. So when it's done wrong, everyone loses, including the industry, so we must do it right. That's why we say shared ocean, shared responsibility. So we are now in the UN Ocean Decade. We are an endorsed activity, as Monique told. So in 2021, the UN started with the Ocean Decade, which is a global call for action. So we have 10 major challenges, from protecting environments to ensure knowledge gaps are being filled, to build equitable ocean economies and empowering communities like you. So it's not just about governments or scientists, it's about everyone. So it's important communities, youth. So we had two young girls here yesterday, which are of course key to ensure. So the Ocean Decade, it starts not in the UN office, it starts in places like Suriname and with people like you, reunited. So when we talk about industry again, the goal is not stop development. It is ensure it is done with respect, transparency. Cheyenne talked a lot about transparency yesterday, and responsibility. So this means hiring locally, using science that is available for the local, and supporting the people who live and depend on the ocean there. So the industry needs to be more than just compliant, it must be collaborative. So support capacity building, build trust, share what is known. So true sustainability means, of course, lifting everybody up. So why local capacity matters? So Cheyenne also, I'm referring a lot, because everything she put as a problem yesterday, it's what we think as a solution. So everything starts with training the people and including the people. So again, with the Jack Stoll saying that we cannot care about what we don't understand, everything is starting with understanding. So the real sustainability should include people. Where there is no knowledge, decisions are made for you and not with you, and that's a problem. So local capacity will ensure that people are not just impacted and they are empowered, they are included, and this will bring positive points for them too. No one understands the waters like more than who lives nearby, so from our point of view, everything starts, of course, with training of local people. Then we will have the monitoring. With monitoring, we will have data. And this data, as Juan Carlos was saying yesterday, will bring as basis to good regulatory decisions and decisions making. So, yeah, we've been talking a lot about good practices in industry. So what BGP is doing, so we are not just talking about it. We showed a video from local capacity building we did in Nigeria last year. So this is a real example. We had this like 20 people trained by JNCC, and that guy there was there in December learning, and now he just got on board in our vessels. He's now working offshore, and this can change lives. We were thinking about what to do in Suriname. We discovered some people were already trained as MMO. So it's not just go there and do a program like, okay, let's repeat the case of success we had in Nigeria. We need to listen to the community. We need to understand what is happening there. That's why Monique here was key to understand. So maybe in a country that, okay, people were trained, but they are not offshore, what is happening? So it might be better to create an environment that we can hear everybody, science, conservationists, and everybody, and understand what is happening here, and create this ocean thinking. Because, of course, some people here never saw a turtle or a dolphin or see the ocean as something really, really far. So, of course, World Ocean Week Suriname is another example. We had another action in Suriname, when was it? 2021? So where we paid 10 industry-recognized courses, NIBOSH for its really offshore industry, and the AIMA, which is environmental management course. It was done here in Suriname too. We had a project in São Tomé, so we bought like school materials for the school there. It's a small island, so we helped with materials from school because everything started in the base, as Monique was telling yesterday, that you are already in touch with the schools here to put the ocean in the literacy. So I'm finishing. Again, everybody used the oceans, either science or fishermen or communities and us. So for me, the Empowering Nigeria is from not only Empowering Nigeria, Ocean Week Suriname, is from awareness to action. How events like these help us to act in the future and to help. So we all have a stake in the ocean. We have the NGOs that have advocacy. We have the youths can bring innovator. We have this little girl there of the technology, so she can bring innovation in the future. We have the communities that are the guardianships of the environment and of the oceans. We have the industry that must bring inclusion and opportunities. And we have the government for enforcement and to make sure everything is done legally. So the ocean does not belong to one group. It's from everyone, belongs to all of us. And if we want a resilient ocean, we must act together, everybody together, not tomorrow, today. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daniella and Morgana. Then I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Mervel Kotzebu, has served as the CEO of DP World in Suriname since September 2023, after serving as General Manager of DP World Paramaribo since 2017. In her role, she is responsible for leading the overall strategy and operations of the organization. Previously, she was the General Manager of DP World Paramaribo, and her leadership was instrumental in establishing key initiatives at DP World, including the launch of DP World Logistics in Suriname in 2021, the establishment of the COSCO Shipping Agency in Suriname in 2018, and the development of the Freight Forwarding Framework in 2024. In 2022, Mervel was selected as the Vice Chair of the Surinamese Business Association, VSB, and in 2023 she was selected as the winner of the Maritime Award of the Americas, not just of Suriname, but of the Americas, in the category of Outstanding Women in Port and Maritime category. As addition to her work, she serves as a board member for the Suriname Economic Oversight Board since 2023, a monitoring body for the IMF program in Suriname, which is a private sector initiative. Mervel holds a bachelor's degree in business economics and completed her MBA at FHR Maastricht School of Management. And her passion is to have a positive impact on the business community and society. And I'm glad to say that we have worked now for several years together to do around World Ocean Day activities together with DP World. Mervel, can I give you the floor?
Thank you, Monique. I need to do it morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. I am here today to, again, deliver my contribution to Ocean Week, and as Monique said, we have been a partner for years when it comes to much to the for the ocean activities. What I would like to do is share with you some best practices our organization has when it comes to sustainability. Actually, to start off, we don't see sustainability and operating your business as a separate activity, but you need to have an integrated strategy to be able to lead your company in a sustainable way. So the agenda for this morning is I will discuss a bit about our sustainability strategy as DP World. And the second is a roadmap that we have that we have continued over years to build local capacity. And as Daniella said rightfully, that protecting your people and planet is key to sustain your future for tomorrow. So our sustainable, I will talk about DP World in a later stage, but let's start off with how does DP World approach sustainability? We are a global logistics leader, and our aim is to deliver end-to-end services in the maritime sector. And actually, our sustainability strategy is built on a program called Our World, Our Future. And basically what we say, this program is the basis to work in a responsible way. You are not in an industry just to be profitable, but you need to leave a legacy behind. You need to engage the community, engage your workers to be a sustainable company, because otherwise you're like a one-day flower and then you die without any impact to anyone that is around you. So our core focus to be sustainable is to work with new smart technology, and I was really happy to hear from Daniella that in the offshore, instead of drilling 10 wells, you have new technology to within a shorter framework and time frame and with minimum impact, you can discover oil, because you can imagine if you drill 10 or 20 wells, then even though you have good technology, you have some spills here and there which impact the ecosystem. And so responsible operations is key. We are committed basically based on the sector that we are in. We are in the maritime sector. You need to combat climate change. Everything you do, the practices that you have on the work floor, you need to minimize the impact on the sea and the climate. So how does our sustainability program look like? On top, you will see Our World, and below Our Future. And Our World is actually the internal company ecosystem we live in. DP World is the organization. And we have identified 7 key business priorities that we need to enhance to best practices in order to build a responsible and a sustainable company. And these business priorities are, of course, related to the sector that you are in. So safety, security, ethics, community engagement, well-being, climate change, and people development are at the basic of our operations. So I don't know whether you have visited the DP World website, but for instance, safety says zero harm to your people. I cannot promote good practices outside and then my people are working unsafe, right? Ethics, for instance, you cannot say I am a responsible company and then you are a big fraud. So basically you need to work internally and have an external strategy towards sustainability. Our future has to do with leaving a lasting legacy, and these are based on actually 3 basic SDGs. And why have we chosen these SDGs is basically the impact that the company wants to have on the community, or the impact that you have as a company on the community to either maximize the best practices or minimize the negative impact. And so the 3 SDGs are women. The reason why in the maritime sector, previously, I think I see, Iska, when you were in the maritime sector, you could only find 1 female at the job, the same for the offshore, but you want to enhance diversity and inclusion. The second, education. Without education training, you cannot engage and leave a lasting legacy behind. You need to transfer knowledge. And water, of course, you are working in the maritime sector, so your business impact is focused on the oceans, the water. So you need to minimize the negative impact on the oceans. I would like to say something about community engagement locally. So we measure our community engagement activities. We have a team of sustainability champions appointed year over year, and they are actually the forefront pioneers when it comes to executing the community activities. So if you measure last year, we had 176 volunteers, 12 activities, 27 volunteer hours, and our impact to the community was approximately 4,061. Let me show you some community engagement activities that we have explored. So this is that. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is then living proof that we say what we do. We don't only preach, but we practice. Again, if it's embedded in your business strategy, then actually it becomes one with you as a person and as an organization. So the roadmap to building local capacity. I would like to, and I'm working backwards, who we are is we are part of a global network. We represent 10% of local trade in the maritime industry, 76 countries, 103,000 employees, and 92 million TEUs, that is 20-foot equivalent units. We trade through the countries. When we talk about the local entities, we have 2 terminals, one at the Sjösättningshafen and one at La Vigilancia. And we also have a logistics company which focus on freight forwarding, agency, and customs clearance. And our vision is to provide an end-to-end supply chain solution. So we are not only handling cargo on the terminal, but starting from booking until to the customer door, we are represented in the value chain. Okay, so Suriname has found oil. We have oil discovery, some or multiple in the past years. And actually, as company, we are onshore support for the offshore industry. And the vital role to be an onshore support is that you have to phase in your infrastructure to support the offshore, because as Daniella and or Morgana, you have a Morgana. Yeah. As a terminal or logistics company, you know, the vessels are paddling from the platform to your infrastructure. So you support with logistics, port or key services, delivery of goods and services through agency and freight forwarding. And in the local capacity, let's say what is relevant, also travel and accommodation. You will have a lot of expats coming to Suriname supporting the offshore industry. Doesn't mean that we will do it, but I think that Surinamese have to be more aware what are the services that you need to deliver. So actually these are some examples: safety, security services, medical and emergency services. Also, let's say mechanical services. And basically, we need to prepare, or actually we are already late for preparation. We need to be prepared to support the offshore industry. Critical for us, or critical for the offshore companies, is that you need to be closest to the offshore side. The time and speed is very, very, very important. The service levels of need to be of high standards. It needs to be still cost effective, because what I have seen, and I'm then talking even though an international company, but with a lot of local experience, people think we will become billionaires in one day, but the offshore company wants to be still cost effective. Isn't it right, BGP? And so local capacity building is a must. What I mean, you cannot extensively have outsourced or outside companies coming to Suriname, because that will not be cost effective. You need to build the local capacity to be able to support. So studies have shown that in Suriname we have some gaps in order to be able to support the offshore industry. And one of the studies from Staatsoli but also other studies which we have collaborated in have disclosed the following gaps. I'm sorry, I have a flu, so I will be like sniffing ever so often. Industry knowledge. Actually, what we have seen is that in Suriname, we hear about the offshore, but we don't have a clue what services we need. We don't have a clue what they do, and there is a big need for the industry knowledge. Only staff only actually know firsthand what's happening, and their team members, their employees, but the community doesn't really know what's happening. But I'm inviting everyone, and I'm inviting 2 minutes. Okay, is your vessel? Oh my God. Yeah, I'm inviting everyone. You know, there is something that is Google search and that is YouTube. So start learning from, educate yourself. It's my opinion. Second of all, workforce skills. We never had offshore industry in Suriname. We have onshore skills, but offshore skill is very rare, and you know, so we need to work on it. HSC and quality gaps. We have a lot of companies in Suriname, and actually safety practices are not really, and I'm looking at Ruud because he's here and he can confirm what I'm saying, it's not considered a priority. It's like expensive in their eyes, but still it is a gap, and it is a prerequisite for the offshore. And even the business acumen, you know, I'm complaining about this a lot. If you don't even have a financial statement, come on, how are you going to support the industry? People want to know what you do. They want to know what are your financial capabilities, or how do you manage your business. And the legal framework, and I was discussing with Muni, you know, we need to talk about the blue economy. What happens if there is an oil spill? We have signed a lot of T3s, but actually they are not materialized in our local legal framework. So at DP World, I was talking about the 7 business priorities. I'm going to give 4 examples how we are putting local capacity in action. People development, we have a people development and talent management program. It starts with the onboarding. We have an active individual development plan. I see Cheryl there, so I'm not lying, right? We have a training program, meaning the onshore support workforce. We have programs to keep their knowledge level at the highest pace, and year over year we do have awareness and programs, and they need to complete a lot of hours. We have a global mentorhood program to, you know, we were talking about female participation in the maritime industry, leadership development, and we are now actively partnering with third-party training institute who have the knowledge of the offshore industry. Ruud is one of them. So also education, our internship programs actively getting new people in, new foster youngsters to enter the maritime industry and providing them internship programs. I think currently we have nearly 8 again walking around every year, and some of them stay within the industry. So actively engaging them and ensure to leave a lasting legacy behind, because ultimately I will retire, but you need new blood. I'm going to be faster because we need to. The HSC culture we have, I feel that DP World has one of the best HSC programs. At the start, I said we had 415,000 man hours in 2024, 0 harm, no LTI, lost time injury. So we take our HSC program seriously, and it is being, we have an overarching program which we call commitments we live by. So these are basic principles we use to encourage workers to see whether they have safe practices on the ground or not. And how do we keep it alive? Actually, by having also the frontline workers engagement. We ask them, do you feel safe? It's an interaction continuously to be able to improve the safety culture. Our emergency response commitment is also actively there. We have year over year our hazmat, BHAFI, and other emergency response and training, and actually persons who are appointed to be responders within the team. And then quality assurance, we have 4 certifications, and again, it's not having the certification that matters. What matters is that you have to walk the talk. Otherwise, your certification don't matter. And last but not least, and I have live proof here that we are starting a new contractor management program because, again, within the supply chain, we have noticed we have contractors, and what we have noticed, they are not even ready for the offshore industry. So we have committed ourselves to improve their skills so that the supply chain collaboration and the surface quality is elevated. Basically, that's it. I hope that you have enjoyed the presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Myrtle. So I will open the floor for questions to the speakers. Is there anybody here who has a question they would like to ask, interact? No? Yes? I see a question. Can you come up here because it's not this long.
Hi, my name is Lakeisha. I'm from the Pater Albring Stichting. I have a question for Daniella because you mentioned that, the other one. You gave the presentation. So you talked about local hire. For us, the oil and gas industry really hires locally, especially with your concerns about the capacity we have to do that.
Yeah, you can sit down if you want. Well, that's a good question because we were here operating a couple of years ago, and we do need to hire marine mammal observers and passive acoustic monitoring operators, which are environmental team, to monitor the marine mammals around sea turtles and shut down the operations if need to. And we looked and looked and looked, and there were no one trained at the time. I mean, there were some, we heard of some people, and we would go to them. We spoke to Thomas, and said, there's these people that they were in the Netherlands doing masters or something like that. So there were nobody to hire. So we had to bring everybody from abroad, which is basic, right? We want to hire marine mammal observers locally, at least, because seismic personnel is a very specific qualification. We do in Nigeria, we do in several places, but it would take a while for a country that's just developing oil and gas to have geoscientists trained in country. That would be difficult. Perhaps marine crew, easy to find. It wasn't so easy here, I remember, but it's easier, the easiest. And the environmental people, we always want to add. So the way we make sure it was to try to find as much as possible. We couldn't, so we thought about running a marine mammal observer training here like we did in Nigeria. We found that the Total had done this for 12 people last year or something. So we said, let's not do the same. We checked the people. Most of the people had not had the chance to work offshore yet. So we were going to hire a trainee on each rotation to make sure that these people get the experience, because only training without experience, you're not going to get an opportunity. So we're going to hire a trainee this time. That's how. It's not one company solving the country's problem, or we can't do that in one day. But then the next idea is, okay, let's do this World Ocean Week so we can create awareness and show people that have no idea what's going on out there in terms of conservation, also a blue economy. There's a whole economy available, and it's going to grow a lot in the next few years here, and the opportunities for the locals will come more and more. So it's not quick, but that's how we thought of starting. We hiring trainees, coming here, doing more. We trained, like I said, 2021 we trained 10 people. Yesterday one of them were here. We did environmental management course and health and safety management course, which are also important courses that you can have to give you opportunity to work offshore or even onshore, but in this industry. So that's how we plan on continue doing. Yeah.
Just to complement a little bit, of course, we are here speaking on BGP Offshore. We are committed to that. Me and Daniella, we are always trying to do programs, training, and trying to ensure people are on board. In Power in Nigeria, they were trained just in December, and one of them already went offshore. I know it's only one of them, but it's a process. So we are there committed to this, but it's not just us. And that's why events like these are important, because we need you too. Because, for example, we have environmental, we have regulations, for example, for instance. We have licensing, permitting, and sometimes we have, for example, a permit that says, no, people need a bachelor in the science context, like biologists or something. And we know this in Suriname is complicated because you don't have this here. So it's something that the local people should fight for and help us in that. We had a really nice webinar in the week talking about blue economy. It's going to be in the YouTube too? Maybe? Not sure. So yeah, it was about blue economy and building. How can you start to have CPD, continuous development courses, to start. So I think now we are just giving the first steps here, promoting the awareness. Now you know these jobs exist, this industry exists, and it's growing here. So you know, now you have network, you know who to look for, who to call, who to send your CV to learn more. So that's how, of course, we are committed to, but we need the other side too. So we need the regulators coming together with the same thing. We need the people going after these and doing, for example, the MMO course or something like that, or asking us how to pursue these. So yes, we are committed, but I guess it's a whole everybody together.
Yeah, just so you have an idea, that those 12 people that were trained here before, we emailed all of them. Nobody answered. We wanted to give them an opportunity.
Can I say something? Because also, and I'm looking at Jessica, I feel that we are making things complicated. The offshore industry is here 10 to 20 years to stay. I think that you as a person and also youngsters need to seek for what is relevant in the offshore industry. Go and seek. That's one. Second of all, I think it's the responsibility of companies to have a program. You know, DP World had experts, you know, in the beginning in the transformation, and they were committed to make it with local capacity. So what DP World did is listen, we have consistent programs to build the capacity, because ultimately we are here to stay. Because otherwise you will have continuously rotation and no transfer of knowledge. So it needs to be a commitment of the oil and gas company, but on the other side, you as a person who are a laborer or an employee, future employee, you have a responsibility too. Thank you.
So she's repeating what Dorian was saying on the MRS webinar we had. Can you come step forward? Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your presentations. My name is Mirjam Narendorp. I'm from Philip, Suriname. PhilAP is a geochemical and environmental laboratory in Suriname, a very well-hidden gem, because a lot of the companies here, especially people working in on the environment here, do not realize that we have a fully equipped environmental lab which can analyze a lot of things. I was very content with this activity, but my question is a little bit in a follow-up of my previous person here. Yes, we do have to get ready as companies. We've been talking a lot about local content, but there is any countries and examples of how other countries deal with this particular question? Thank you.
So who wants to answer this question? Yeah?
I think Guyana is the most recent example. They enforced the local content law, which is actually a little bit, I feel it's too complicated. It can be more, not so restrict. But I feel that one thing that we should do, and again, I'm going to look at Yiska because she's transport sector VSB and has also a legal background. It needs to be a private initiative as well to push for legislation. If you are a group of companies who want to work in a responsible way, you need to reinforce together with the entities, like the NGOs, to work towards not only local content but the whole legal framework. If you look at the responsibilities a country has, if there is, let's say, a national oil spill, actually currently it is Suriname who will bear the risk, not the oil company. So basically, again, it is a collaboration, and there needs to be a sense of urgency to come together, work together, not only to, it's a collaboration to be able to preserve the ecosystem actually, and to make sure that after, because oil is an extractive industry, that you have this lasting legacy. We have worked as the VSB, because I'm also vice chair. We have worked towards the local content. We have submitted some policies, and we hope that, with the new government, that we are taken more seriously, and that together we can work towards. And we were also in the oil and gas group together, Monica and I. So legislation is something we have worked on and said we want to jointly join forces and work towards legislation. But maybe Monica.
Yes, so I'm not going to go into that because, as yesterday, we're starting to run late. But I think Daniella wanted to say something as well about this, and I think then we will end this discussion and go to our next presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, you asked for examples of other countries and local content regulations. I can give you a few examples of Brazil, where I live. It's very restrict and very, how can I say, very difficult in terms of compliance, local content. But Brazil has a huge and very old offshore development, so we can do that, right? I mean, say if you're a seismic vessel, you are there. After a year, you have to have 1/3 of your crew, maritime crew, Brazilian. After 2 years, 100%. In Argentina, you need 100% of maritime crew right away to be Argentinians. So we obviously can replace the whole crew by locals because there's a way that the vessel needs to be run. It's due to health and safety. And seismic vessels are not like shipping, go from one place to the other. They have very specific navigation and very expensive equipment being towed sometimes. So we end up with 100% redundancy in maritime crew, and that sometimes the vessel is completely full, and even it's hard to accommodate. You say, if I want to put a trainee, vessel is full. So there are local content regulations that are very beneficial for the country, but may discourage companies from even wanting to work in certain places because it's too complicated. Well, Nigeria, we work a lot in Nigeria. We need to hire local content from the village. They are not at all competent to do what they do. Sometimes they just come on board just to be there and get paid because it's mandatory. Just sit around. And so most of it is the whole industry's fault because there's not a lot of investment in training people locally because there's no mandatory training. But yes, the company should be doing more like we did, and we should continue, all of us, doing more, because we can't just have people coming, sitting around, not doing anything, getting paid, and that happens a lot in some places. So it could discourage companies from working in certain places. So it's as important as it is, needs to be carefully done.
Thank you. So I'm not sure if people need to step out, please go, because I think we're running late a little bit. Myrtle, thank you very much for being here. We'll give you like 2 or 3 minutes to step out, and then we'll start with the next session.